Step by step, the clock is ticking, but there's no time for weakness. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Cairo. Tonight, we will fly above the sky to protect your soul.
It's a long shot, that's a break.
Welcome back, guys, to some more Anthony Smith. Yes, we changed the name last week. I believe it was last week, unless this is out on a Friday. But I think it's going to be out next Monday. So, yeah, changed my channel name. I'm moving on. I'm going to be doing a lot more reactions. Maybe a few tier lists. Things like that. And in the new year, I will be doing, if you watch, if any of you know who this is, if not, there's a YouTube channel called Connor O'Keefe. He's a goalkeeper, he has a series called Keeping Goals. It's essentially a weekly vlog. I think he does it every Sunday, and I think there's maybe, he uploads twice a week, maybe, definitely once a week. And he takes you through his footballing season from pre-season to the end of the season, and that's a season, and then of his film, and then so he's got season 4. Next season will be season 5, which is when he goes back to the team he was just at, and in between it's not a season, it's just in between videos. That's the type of thing I am aiming to do. I'm aiming to show you my training, etc. like that. Try and find a good club, a decent level club, like a high level club-ish. And show you my hopeful route to professional football. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to make it to the Premier League for Manchester United or something, or even the Premier League at all, but I want to be a pro footballer at the highest level I can possibly be, yes, but I'll take you through that journey and also show you some boxing stuff, as I will be having 2 boxing fights, well, 2 definite boxing fights, one against Kieran, who I believe we agreed for 2-minute rounds. I'll check that out, but yet again, we'll sort that out for a few months after the end of COVID. So when the end of COVID gives us like actual properly training time, because for whatever reason I've been ill or he's been ill, or COVID has stopped us going to the gyms and properly training, you know, so that is a huge impact. So after, say, 3-4 months of allowing us 3-4 months of proper training, we'll have it, and then I want a rest month afterwards, maybe a rest month or 2, and then around the same amount of time, 4 months or so, in order to fight Leo Powell. You know, he did call me out if I beat Kieran, but I want to fight him even if I don't, which I'm going to beat Kieran. But enough about that. Let's jump straight into the video, shall we? And speaking of boxing, it is me ranking YouTube boxers. Now, it took me a while to find one where they didn't put Vidal in, because Vidal's just too good, and I'm sorry, Vidal's not a YouTube boxer. He's a boxer who does YouTube. YouTube boxers are YouTubers who are doing boxing. There's a difference. He's another level, and if he was on here, he would have a completely different rank. He'd probably, because I think he could beat all of them and potentially knock out everyone on this list. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump straight into it, shall we? So, up first, we have one of the Rakanakas. I can't remember which one, but one of them had a fight, and if I believe it was against Scarce, the one who lost a lot of weight. He used to be really big, lost a lot of weight for the fight. Well done to him. I'm going to put him in amateur. I'm going to put Rakanaka in amateur. He was very good, don't get me wrong, he was good, and I think if he kept training he could have been better and a surprise fighter, but he's stopped that. I think he prefers doing YouTube and all that, and all his stunt works that he does there. But as a boxer, he was an amateur. Because, by the way, the ranks are champ, or champs, pro, amateur, stinker, and should retire. Essentially, I'm putting Rakanaka there. Up next, we have Gibb. Big Gibber. 7-figure Gibber. Where else am I going to put him? He's definitely pro. He's been pro. He's done 3 fights, I believe, because I think he was in the Joella undercard as well. I could be wrong about that, so correct me if so. I don't... Yeah, he definitely had 2, because he had 2 and then fought Jake. I know in his last fight he fought Slim, was it? And that was a thug fest, you know, an absolute slugfest. One of the best fights. And he made it pro. And I think it was nerves that got to him and really gave him weak knees, if you will, that made Jake be able to knock him down 3 times. And I think Gibb could probably do a lot better. I think if Gibb didn't have that like pressure and was used to that type of thing, I think he could have given Jake a good fight. I don't want Jake to win, but I think Jake still would have won. I'm not doubting that. I think Jake would have definitely won anyway, but Gibb would have given him a lot of a better fight, which would have been very entertaining for us. I think it would have been one of the most entertaining, if not the most entertaining boxing fight till this day, but alas, it did not happen. But he's still going pro because he's still very good. He's still good. He's more of the slug fighter, and I think he pairs better against another slug fighter or someone who can't take hits. I think someone like Jake, who can also take hits, but is more of a technical boxer, I think Gibb will always kind of struggle against. That's nothing against Gibb. I do like Gibb. 7-figure Gibber. Up next, who do we have? We have this guy. I believe he was meant to fight someone the first time round against Logan, the first KSI vs Logan fight. I don't know who he is. I'm pretty sure he dropped out. I can't remember who he was going to fight, so I'm sorry about that. He should just retire. I mean, he dropped out, didn't he? If not, I'm pretty sure he lost, because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't do much research before this because I need to record as much as I can before I have my tonsils removed, and I didn't think it would require this much research. Up next we have Fousytube. I was originally going to put him in Stinker, but then put him in Should Retire because what? He beat Alex Wasabi. Well, that's fucking Alex Wasabi. I could beat him. And he was a punching bag in his second fight. I mean, obviously he should retire after that. A lot of the people who lost, I think, a lot of them, I think, should go again and could do even better with a better, or some of them with a better camp, some of them if they just get used to that nerves and do things that will get them used to that pressure. But Fousytube is not one of them. Fousytube, I think that was his ceiling, because it wasn't like the occasion got to him. Yes, it did get to him, but I think he didn't fall apart like the others. It was just he wasn't good enough. He could still improve, but I think he should retire. Up next, we have Slim, the person who beat him. Stinker. He is like a Kieran. Tall, lanky, thinks he can fight, can't. I would batter him like I'm going to batter Kieran, as you'll all see. I mean, he's a stinker. And the way I'm thinking this is anyone above, anyone in pro can beat amateur, anyone in amateur can beat Stinker, etc. Slim obviously beat Fousy, so he has to be in Stinker, but I think Gibb would wreck him up like that. You know, I think it would be a 2 rounds at most, 2-3 rounds most. Probably not even that, and even then I don't think Slim would get any points, and I think Rakanaka would beat him too. So obviously that's where he's going. So up next we have this guy. I have no idea who he is, so I'm sorry. So I have to put him in Should Retire because I don't know who you are. This might just be me being stupid, but I don't recognise him. Sorry, and yeah, so I'm sorry about that. So let's just move on, shall we? Up next we have, I think his name's Momo. It's Mo something. I call him Dance Guy because in his boxing match he did lots of dancing. he did the, you know, he did that. So I called him Dancey Guy, and he was good. I think he was there more for entertaining, you know, like having fun and entertaining, and he joined in, from what I remember, he joined in at like the last minute, so he had barely any training, and he still won his fight. Would he be good? I don't know. What he showed, he was good at, but then he also was clowning around, which obviously boxing fans don't like, YouTube fans liked. But he wasn't a boxer, he wasn't there to be serious, he was there just for the fun of it, you know? And he wasn't the focus of the fight. I think people are the focus of the fight. If they did that, yeah. I know when Logan did it, it was entertaining, but we'll get to that later. But I'm going to put him in amateur, you know? He's not a stinker. We haven't seen anything bad from him. We just haven't seen anything good either. Don't get me wrong, Rakanaka would still beat him. I'm certain of it. So the ones closest to the rank, so the more left they are, the more, so it goes in order from, you know, best to worst in each category, in my opinion. Now, some of them I'm going to be very controversial, I know that. So let's go up to the next one, shall we? JMX, I'm going to put him in pro. I'm going to put him below Gibb, only because from what we've seen of JMX, he won both of his fights, but he fought someone who was, you know, an athlete, but not trained in boxing, and then he fought someone who was a lot smaller. You know, both of his opponents were smaller. He's a very tall fighter. Way small. Excuse me. Damn nabbit. Sorry. It's to do with the tonsils, hence why I'm having them removed. So, and when he has had an injury, so you haven't seen the best of him. And if this was an MMA fight, I would put him above Gibb, because in his one MMA fight he was a lot better, and he really showed what he was good at. But in terms of boxing, I'm going to put Gibb above him, and I think if JMX and Gibb fought, I think Gibb would eat all of JMX's punches, and he would throw hard ones, and it would really be down to, can JMX keep Gibb, you know, out of reach, you know, too far away, and can Gibb getting close enough. That's really what it comes down to. And I don't know, they're two completely different fighters, but I'm just going to put Gibb on because he's had a pro fight, whereas JMX has only had 2 amateur boxings and then an MMA. So for that reason, I have to put Gibb above him. And then up next, who do we have up next? Oh, Jay Swigler. He fought Gibb, Big Gibber. That was the slugfest, and it was entertaining. I put him in amateur. He's not as good as he lost against Gibb. Gibb's gone pro, and I'm going to put him below Rakanaka because I think Rakanaka was in better shape and technically better. But I think if they fought, because of the weight difference, probably Jay would win. That's just my opinion. But I'm going to put him below because that's down to weight classes rather than talent. Deal with it. Then up next we have Logan. Now Logan's going up in pro, and he's going above Gibb. I was thinking to put him in champ, but he lost against KSI, and that's the only reason. And I'm going to say this now. I think out of everyone in this list that you'll see, I think his right hand is the most devastating, and I think if he learned to throw it more and it connected clean, he could knock out most of these people. You saw what it did to KSI. Yes, he gave a few he gave 2 illegal hits afterwards, but that hook did rattle JJ, and he admitted it before in a Vidal video. I'll see if I can get a link in the description below, but I'm not good with getting a link in the description below, sorry. So if you know how to, let me know in the comment section below, bearing in mind I have an iPad Pro. But I think in his first fight, I think he had more of that instinct, you know, to attack and let things fly, and his jab looked sharper, but apparently his jab was even sharper in the second one. I didn't look it, but that was just my opinion. But I think he was cleaner with his moves in the second, and I think if he had that killer instinct that Jake has and that he had in the first one, I think he potentially could have won, because he's taller, he's fitter than JJ. I'm sorry, JJ, he's stronger than you and all that. But you do have better stamina, I'm not even going to lie. And you still have mad power, JJ. I don't know why I'm saying that. You're not going to watch this yet. But, oh well. I think Logan... And I generally think if Logan throws a good connect with his fist, they're getting knocked out. If not, they're getting knocked down and they're going to be dazed afterwards, and it's his fight to win. Which is why I think... I'm going to say this now. I think Logan stands a chance against Mayweather, as it has been confirmed he's fighting Mayweather in February. If he's been training that we don't know about, I think he has a chance. I'm not saying he will win, because when it comes to technically boxing and the best defensive boxer, Mayweather's a lot better. But Mayweather's over 50 years old. What, he's like 50 years old? Over 50? Yeah, he's been retired for a bit, and he's a lot smaller. He's around, what, 5'8"? I'll put a photo on screen in a second, saying how tall he is, and Logan's over 6 foot. And I think that right hand, I think if he connects that right hand, it would still rock Floyd. I don't think it'll knock him out. Definitely won't knock him out with one punch or get him to drop, but it will definitely rock him a little. So he has potential. Having said that, I think if anything it will end in Floyd will win or it will be a draw. But I'm saying it's possible. I'm not saying I think he's going to win. I'm just saying it is possible. Anyway, enough about Logan. Let's go on to our next person. This we have Scarce, I believe his name is. He fought Rakanaka, he lost weight, did this fight, big ups man, the amount of weight you lost is insane, so really, really big ups, proud of you. And for that I have to put him in amateur, because he wasn't bad either. I think he was missing the power that, because he lost that much weight, and I think he doesn't want to do, I know he doesn't want to do, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to do it again, but if he wanted to do it again, and he can, start then putting on that muscle and stuff, I think he'd be more comfortable with a little bit more weight, because he was losing all that weight, made him a little uncomfortable, but have to put him in amateur, but I think I'm putting him at the end of amateur, or second last as of this moment of amateur. Up next we have Joe Weller. He's going top of amateur, he's going above Rakanaka, and I know what you're thinking, he did nothing. Well, I think, yet again, if he was used to the crowds like KSI was, he would have beat KSI. And I think if he had a better team, his team, bad. His nerves got the better of him. And this is why I think if he somehow gets Vidal to train him, or a good trainer, like a better trainer than what he had before, that can have that relationship that JJ and Vidal has, I think he can go up this list and go into pro, and I think he could go above Gibb, and I think he could potentially go to champs, but I doubt that, because I don't think he has that motivation. As we all know, his mental health does lead him to throw things in the gutter, like his podcast waffling, and I'm saying that now, that is down to his mental health. It just is. Anyway, but as of this moment he's going top of amateur, but I think he has potential. Up next we have Deji. Deji is going pro, and he's going above Gibb, below Logan, but everyone who's worked with him has said he's got better potential than JJ. He's naturally fitter, and he's naturally better boxing, could throw quicker, harder, but he, unlike JJ, he was scared of the punch to begin with, but he didn't work hard enough. And yet again, I think if he works as hard as JJ did, he will be champion, and he will be the top one, because if he's better than KSI, and if he gets that work rate of KSI, then obviously he's going to be better. It's just facts. Do we want him to be better? I don't know, but it's facts. It's just how this works. Sorry, looking at my head and it seems a little tilted, but this is me tilting it, but it looks more straight. Could just be the video angle I'm at. Anyway, but as of this moment he's going below Logan, and yet again, one of the reasons Logan's fought pro, Deji hasn't. Deji's potential puts him above Gibb, and I think he also messed up Jake, whereas Gibb didn't. Gibb was knocked down 3 times in the first round, but then again, 10-ounce gloves, no head guard. Anyway, up next we have Adam Salah, I've heard a lot about him, but I personally haven't watched him or know anything about his boxing, and I've heard he's really good, so I'm going to put him in amateur, but bear this in mind, it's just because I haven't seen him do it yet, so he's probably going to be in pro around that, but for me, I haven't seen him, but I've heard enough good things about him to put him in amateur. And then up next we have no, I've already done that. Sensei. He's helped coach JJ, KSI, and a few others. He does martial arts. He's a martial artist, in case you guys don't know that. And if this was MMA, he would be in champ. He would be undoubtedly in champ. But this is boxing. He's had one boxing fight that we've seen on YouTube, and it was against a wrestler, predominantly Overflow. Someone's popular. Ladies, calm down. Anyway, but yeah, I'm putting him above Gibb because I think he did better than Gibb. But I think Deji did better than him. I know people are going to... This is what I was talking about earlier when I said people are going to think some of my decisions are absolute bullshit. But this is... He's an MMA guy, not a boxer. And his boxing, his technique wasn't... was more MMA style. Deji was more boxing orientated. Logan's was more boxing orientated. So as I've said, definitely champ if it was mixed martial arts. It's not. He's going in boxing. We've seen one fight from him. Wasn't the main card. It was against a wrestler, but he did drop him. So well done. As I said, controversial. I could easily put him top of pro. So the pro is a very close category, I think. So yeah. KSI, we are putting him in stinker because he's shit. Now, of course not. We're putting him in champ, fam. Who did you think I was? You don't know. He is champ. He beat Joe Weller with barely any training. Both of them had barely any training. He was an amateur. He beat him. He drew against Logan, which it's hard to believe. But then in professional boxing, 10-ounce gloves, no head guard, against a bigger man, that even KSI was like, holy crap, he's a lot bigger. In the fight, he beat him. Yes, it was by a split decision, and he only won a few more points than Logan, which lots of people forget. It wasn't KSI won by a landslide. It wasn't a KSI knockout. It was a close split decision. And if it wasn't for that knockdown, if it wasn't for the hit on the back of the head, it could have been a draw. But then you can also say if KSI's knockdown counted. But that's besides the point. What we're saying is it was close. So Logan was close. That's why I've put him the top of pro. But KSI still won, and he was the smaller guy. He wasn't even 6 foot. I believe Logan Paul's like 6'2" or something. That's a lot bigger, and he is a very muscular man who is technically good at boxing. You look at him, he's more technically clean than KSI is. And his right hand can do more damage. So what does that tell you? If someone's technically better, fitter, and got a stronger right hand, and someone beats them, of course that person is going in champ. Like, what do you expect to happen? And obviously we're putting Jake Paul in champion. I mean, he has probably got the most ruthlessness side of him. KSI's got his wild swings, but in pure predator instincts of wanting to kill your prey, Jake Paul has that killer instinct. He goes in that ring looking to hurt you and knock you out. He's not looking to box you. I mean, he does box you, and I think he's one of the... I'm going to say this. He is one of the best technical boxers on this list. In fact, I think he's the most technical boxer on this list. He's good with his hooks. He's good with his overhands and his... I almost said straight. Jeez. His jab and cross. I want to say reverse on this because karate, you know, you got your jab and reverse where here it's jab and cross. So if I say jab, if I say you know, anything else, it's probably because of karate. But he's got that killer instinct. He really does. He does better combos than anyone on this list. I'm going to put him below KSI though, because he's fought people smaller than him. Bloody hell, guys. I'm trying to film a YouTube video! I'm joking, it's just wind and no one's out there. We're on the top floor. But he has fought Deji. They were both amateurs, but he was the athlete. He was the fit one. Bearing this in mind, he has a wrestling background. He sold out shows, you know, he's been in front of the camera for Disney and things like this. And he's done concerts, I'm pretty sure, and stuff like that. So he is used to all this pressure. He does stupid stuff. He's used to the pressure. He's an athlete. He's been an athlete his whole life. He's done wrestling. He's done that. Deji wasn't. Deji and KSI were both fat people, but where KSI was already in shape by the time he called out Logan, Deji wasn't. Deji got in shape for this fight, so he went from the fight. Well, he didn't get in the shape as he could have, but remember that. And Deji messed up his face. Jake still won though. Second fight, it was against Gibb. Smaller. Someone who's not used to being in front of this many people with this pressure on him. Because remember, in the past, it's just he's an undercard. He's not the main attraction. For that fight, he was one of the main attractions. He was the co-main against Jake Paul. Britain was on his side and he would let them down. And next up was Nate Robinson, who he knocked the fuck out. Round 2, beautiful. I'll show you that clip in a second, but Jesus Christ. Who thought it would be any different? I knew Jake would win. It's either Jake would dominate the whole time or he'd knock him the fuck out. Anyone who's going, oh, Jake's going to beat KSI. Fuck off. How is he going to beat KSI? It's not. How are you saying, oh, he's going to beat KSI? He knocked down Gibb. He knocked out Nate Robinson. Yeah? KSI beats Gibb all the time in training. Boom. Done. Your argument's terrible. 2. Nate Robinson had what? 2 months? I've heard 1 to 3 months to train. Jake has been training since 2018. 2 years versus 3 months. Who do you think's going to win that? Nate Robinson was not experienced at this at all. Barely any training. And there are rumours going around that Nate never sparred anyone. How are you going to win without sparring when you're up against someone who sparred before? Like it boxing. Now, I've sparred at karate and I've done karate things before. But if I want to train, I need to try and find sparring partners and stuff like that for me to beat Kieran. But it's going to be hard. Same for him. And I don't think he's going to do it. And I don't think he's going to train. Which is why I'm going to knock him the fuck out. Well, it's unlikely I'm going to knock him out. Let's face it. Amateur. We're going to be wearing head guards and bigger gloves than 10-ounce gloves. And no, don't call me a wuss for it. It's because we're amateurs. Hopefully, for my second fight, I can try and get pro, but I doubt it. So we're going to have to do amateur again. We're going to have to actually kind of work the way up. We're not the stars of KSI or Logan or Jake or anything like that who can bend rules and skip things like this because of how big they are. We need to grow. So if I can get around 1,000 subs by my fight, or at least by my second fight and stuff like that, and get a few fights under my belt, then maybe one day I can go pro, you know, for the YouTube. That's why I'm going to train for Kieran, beat Kieran, and I might, before I fight Powell, young Powell, I might see if, with the people I'm training with, I might, you know, actually go to have amateur fights to get better shape. I don't know. It all depends on COVID and everything like that, what's coming up this year, you know. Anyway, that's my tier list. So in Should Retire, we've got Fousytube, we've got that fat guy I don't know, and then we've got that green guy I don't know. I'm going to call him green guy because the background's green. Then in Stinker, we've got Slim. He's a stinker, let's face it. In Amateur, we've got Adam Salah in bottom place. Not because he's the worst, but because I don't know about him, but I know enough about him. Then we got Scarce. Lost a lot of weight, still put up a great fight. Well done, mate. Then we got Mo. He's just entertaining and good. and Jay Swigler. He is definitely one of the sluggers and one of the would be a hard opposition for anyone when training. Rakanaka, he was surprisingly technical, very fit as we all know, and can take punishment. If you see his YouTube videos, you know he can take punishment. And then Joella, I think he's probably one of the better, one of the normal athletes and better boxers, but the pressure got to him. Then we got to pro. We've got JMX. Tall, lanky, muscular, well, not really lanky then, tall, muscular, better at MMA, I think, but still a good boxer. Then we've got Gibb, professional fight, 2 amateur fights, 1-2, lost 1 to Jake Paul. Then we've got Fousytube, no, why do I keep saying Fousytube? Then we've got Sensei, then we've got Deji, probably the one with the raw potential, who will never have the attitude it requires to get up to be the best. You got Logan Paul, the biggest right hand on this list and the biggest knockout potential because of it, but doesn't have that killer instinct for whatever reason. He's lost it. Then in champ tier, we've got Jake Paul, who's done 3 fights, 1 amateur, 2 professionals, 1-3, beat Deji by Deji's team throwing in the white flag, knocked down Gibb 3 times and knocked out Nate Robinson. Then we've got KSI, 3 fights, 2 amateurs, 1 professional. Fought Joella, someone who was smaller, so you can see him being an outboxer, which is someone who, you know, wants to keep someone on the outside, use their jab, etc. What Logan should have done. Then you've got him fighting Logan twice. So he did a completely different style of fighting. So that's the list. Now, I think Joella should fight again, Gibb should fight again, Deji should fight again, and Logan should fight again. Logan's fighting Mayweather. I've given you my thoughts on that. I think a lot of them can fight again. But I don't think any of them can fight pro, apart from the ones I've just mentioned. Jake and KSI, obviously. Logan, obviously. Deji, Gibb, and Weller, I think. JMX and Fousy can... not Fousy, face Sensei. But I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to stick with mixed martial arts. Anyway, this has been a long-ass video. Shit, my bad. Anyway, till next week. Peace out, bitches.